Yo, do you remember your first time getting head, man?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if there's any better feeling. And I'm not even talking about arriving at the scene. I'm just talking about the first time she either puts her hair up or she just taps your knee and like relax, and you're like, oh,
That's crazy.
you're like, oh, it's happening, it's happening,
It's happening.
it's
This is
happening.
really happening.
That first ever
Oh
top,
my
man, that
God.
feeling you get, you're like, whoa! I've heard this in songs.
Check it out, y'all. Check it out, y'all.
All right, so the conversation I want to have with you is you don't know who you don't really follow basketball, you don't really follow sports like that, but
To a certain extent.
do you know who
not-
Gilbert Arenas?
Yes.
Okay, Gilbert Arenas used to play basketball, used to be in the NBA, and he spoke about how during the trials in the Olympics with the men's basketball team, that how they almost lost to South Sudan,
Yes.
and saying that he was kind of criticizing, not criticizing, but making fun of, one, the men's basketball team for almost losing, and two, who they almost lost to, and referring to them as like, yo, they get hand-me-down sneakers, oh, they get with spears and all types of offensive shit. Because quite frankly, if a white person would have said the exact same words that he would have said, they would have been deemed canceled.
Everybody would have been up in arms. Everybody.
100%. So I feel like he deserves the same smoke as anybody who was any other race for saying that. What I want to discuss is pretty much the difference between African Americans, traditional African Americans whose lineage comes from slavery, and their family and their generation grew up in America during civil rights, during the 70s, 80s, all that type of stuff. And that upbringing in comparison to West Indian or Caribbean parents and how they raise their kids here. Okay. Me personally, I can only speak from my point of view, and I have West Indian parents. My mother is Haitian. And so I'll first ask you, do you believe there is a difference between how traditional African Americans who are brought up in this country are raised here and how they have a certain stigma here in comparison to West Indian or foreign family generations that came here and developed a life here?
It depends. It depends on where they come from. It truly depends on where they come from.
Okay.
For instance, like Haitians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Haitians are able to understand more of the struggles of Afro Americans because the country's still struggling.
Of course, yes, 100%.
You know what I mean? And over there, nobody wants to talk about, but slavery is still real. In Haiti and Dominican Republic, because it's slave labor over there. What Dominicans, how the Dominicans abuse, the Haitians, and the Haitians are the ones that build that country. You go to any construction site, and they're pretty much all Haitian. So hence the reason why if you speak to a Haitian and a child of a Haitian who's grown up in the United States, they understand it. Parents understand it because that's where they come from also.
Mm-hmm. So
right?
When they come here, so speaking from my parents, well, my mother specifically, coming here, it was you go to school, you get an education, you get your degree, you get a good job, you build a family, and you live the quote unquote American dream. Like you that's the path in which we're supposed to go through, and there's no questioning that path whatsoever. Now, if you look at traditional African Americans who grew up in this country and those family lineage, I remember one specific viewer, one specific person who watches us, told me in private. He said, "You know what the problem is with traditional African Americans in this country? They don't have a culture." Do you agree with that?
100%.
Okay, expand on that.
100%. I listen. Most people from African descent, that come from other countries, still carry their culture. They've been able to carry some of their culture over into those islands, right? Even if it's just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about the Afro American, that was all stripped. They were made to relinquish all of their identity, and listen, we have Africans who, we have people here in the United States who should be Igbo, Yoruba,
Right.
all that stuff, and none of them were able to keep that culture because they were told, nah, you can't practice that. You have to be Catholic. You want to practice
circle
religion,
back.
you have to be Catholic.
To circle
you know
back,
what I mean?
but to circle back, like for instance, we're using Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas' lineage's name, if it wasn't stricken from his family line, it probably would have been a name you just mentioned. It wouldn't have been Gilbert.
No.
Right.
It'd have been Tunde or Musa or whatever.
One of the names of the players on the South Sudanese team, pretty much. Just call it what it is.
Listen, look at what Knucklehead was saying even before the game started, on how he was making fun of the team, right, because of the point spread.
Yeah,
that's disgusting.
Yeah,
But
I think that's the whole point of like this conversation. It's like, I don't think, like, as a Haitian American, if like the Haitian basketball team almost beat the United States men's team, there's no way I probably would have been like, how did the U.S. almost lose to this team? Yeah, but in which how he describes it, I would have never done that out of respect of understanding Haitian culture. So I think that's the conversation I'm having, is like, are traditional African Americans so far removed from any type of culture that they can't even acknowledge or just respect, just African culture or any other culture for that matter.
Well, it's weird, and I don't know how to describe it to you or describe it at all, but we understand as people of color that our roots, right, are in Africa, but as Americans, we disconnect from that.
Oh, this is even more disappointing. I'm sorry. His family's he has Cuban parents. That's even more disappointing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
So, how is it another? Listen, but we look at this situation and we go, how can you do that? But we do that to each other all day, every day in this country. Amongst each other. The hate is real. Amongst each other. Hence the reason why we have, the murder rate in our communities is so high.
I need better examples in terms of, give me a better example where in which
what are you
I understand
talking about?
I'm not talking about black on black crime. I'm just talking about the attack. I'm not trying to pin West Indian and Caribbean families against traditional African American families, but there is a stark difference between the two, in my opinion, in terms of upbringing. Would you admit that or no?
Yeah, because I would say yes, and I would say yes and no. If the nucleus is there, right? Yeah, there is a difference. Those families, the children, the parents tend to be very, very strict. You know what I mean? They're unified. This time,
not really. Not
in a lot of situations they are. I see it all the time.
In Caribbean families, how many times have we seen
Caribbean
families? How many times have we seen the dad's not around or the dad's?
No, I didn't say always. Once again, I said where there is a nucleus, right? Where there is that family, right? There is a difference.
Okay, sure.
But for I mean, I get it. It doesn't matter whether you're West Indian or Afro American. Listen, it doesn't really matter, because we understand that whole there's no dad around is just a thing in our community, and you know what I mean. Here,
that happens in every. Once it's not a black thing. I think that's the one thing. It's not an Afro American.
But see, that's the thing. But that's the thing that hurts us the most. That's the thing that hurts us the most. It
There's
is in
deadbeats
every,
culture.
There
Yes,
is.
there are.
Yes, they are. But for us, it hurts us even more. It's like, there's a lot of conspiracies on why is it that there's less fathers in those families, right? Within people of color or whatever. On how the government and this and that, incarceration, all these other things, right? But because of the history in this country and so many other things, and the fact that we have that situation is the reason why so much shit is going on within our own communities. Is there a defined difference? Just do with the family structure? Not really. I know a lot of the families that I've seen, though, the father still tries to play a really big part in their kids' lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? A lot of times I find a lot of women being resentful and not wanting to have the father around just because out of resentment, not because they don't think, the women don't think about the child, they just think about themselves.
But that's not based on cultural background. That's just based on the situation.
I guess.
I mean, you don't seem too convincing when it's me and me.
I don't know, because I hear it all the time.
And what do you mean by that? In specific cultures, or are you talking about just in general? Because like I said, I've seen examples where the father was absent in Italian cultures, Irish cultures, any type of culture you want to string back. There's deadbeats in every,
I guess,
culture.
but I don't, I know a lot of people who outside of my, my own race or what have you, but the people who I've generally been around my whole life have been, Black people, Hispanics, and just in general people of color.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think if somebody would not, I don't want to say not acknowledge, but demean another country? Because I think you would agree, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're Haitian, whether you're Jamaican, we have lineage from Africa. Is that safe to say?
Yeah.
Okay. You would swear there are some cultures, some Hispanic cultures, that would not consider themselves African whatsoever. I think we know who they are.
Well, Dominicans are I don't give a fuck. Dominicans are infamous for saying that they don't have any black blood in them. And the lighter they are, the
more they run from that shit.
The more they run from it. But then you have the ones that are black. Black.
Yeah.
Those
look
guys,
like me.
And will tell you, no, they don't have any African blood in them. I was like, I look at them like, are you no, really? No? Nada? You Spaniard then. You have only Spaniard blood in you. It's like, yes. And I go, then you should be white. Or you did something. You reversed the you didn't lighten your skin, you darkened it. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand.
Right.
But that's once again, that's conditioning. That's all. That's conditioning. That's all that is. That's people making people feel ashamed of who they are and where they come from,
or just not educating themselves in really, or like I said, just keeping themselves blind to it. Because some people don't even want to acknowledge it. Like they're like, I'm here. There's some Hispanics don't consider themselves Hispanics. I told you before, I think NYPD cops who are Hispanic, once they get sworn in, they automatically turn Italian. They start talking Italian and shit, which is crazy to me.
It's probably because of the circles that they hang around, because of the guys.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
But but there's this whole thing. I had a conversation with somebody just the other day, and I'm like, all right, so when you fill out any of these forms, what do you put in there? So for race and what's the other one? Race and
oh yeah, I know what you mean. Ethnicity.
Ethnicity, right?
Yeah.
So ethnicity would be Hispanic, because Hispanic is a choice, right? And then for race, they're people, they have color, and they'll put white.
Yeah.
So when I'm filling out the form, my obvious choice is black.
That's what you fill out. Now, describe your background. Though you're Puerto Rican.
Well, my mom is Colombian, my dad is Puerto Rican, and I was born and raised here.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It's funny though, when my mom comes from an area where they're black in Colombia, it's on the coast, right? Most of the people in that area are black. support. And then my mom's dad, my grandfather, he's Colombian. He wasn't dark. But he was darker than me.
Okay.
Right. And then my mom also has a lot of indigenous blood in her too, like Indian, due to my great grandmother.
So you're just you're a cultural smoothie, my guy. You're
and then my dad came from a part of Puerto Rico that were black people.
What do you think about the whole, like, I mean, not to pivot real quick, but the whole, like, Trump not acknowledging, well, saying that Kamala turned black. Like, first she was Indian and she was walking around India, and now she turned black. What did you even think about that when you saw it?
That's just stupidity. That's him just trying to,
That's beyond politics, in my opinion.
I'm tired of talking about him. I don't think, I don't think we should be talking about him at all, because whether we talk about him negatively,
nobody changes their opinion.
We're still talking about him.
Yeah, and that's what he wants.
And that's exactly what he wants. You know how they always say, doesn't matter whether it's good or bad publicity, right? Still publicity kind of deal. I'd rather talk about Kamala and how she's doing, and
just things you'd like to see in the future.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, and I'm not 100% sure I want to see Kamala there either, per se, right? I gotta do a little more research and see what her, what type of platform she's running on. You know what I mean? As long
as you're acknowledging that you're willing to do the research.
Yeah, I'm willing, because I don't have to do any research on Trump.
Right.
It's funny though, because even before, when he was running, I didn't have to do any research on Trump, because we know Trump.
Right.
I know Trump from the 80s and the 90s.
We all do. Do you believe that there are people who do that, where they switch what's convenient for them?
Of course.
There's plenty of people who do that shit.
Yeah, we call them the bandwagon bunch. You know what I'm saying? Those are the individuals that what's it called?
Who comes to your head when you think about people who do that? And it's funny because, like, in my opinion, like, a lot of people are knocking Amber Rose, and I feel like I want to be careful when I say this, but I feel like black culture is used and abused until they're done with it, and then they hop the bandwagon.
The thing is that he's not even being smart with it. If he's recruiting people of color, and then Amber Rose is still somewhat questionable, but
no, I'm not. But I'm not. But here's my problem, and let me interrupt you. I don't care what she is. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't like when people use black culture, the culture, quote unquote, to their benefit, and then when it no longer benefits them, they jump ship and then go on the other side. Now, I'm not saying that just because you side with him, you can't be part of the culture. I'm not saying that, but there just seems to be, like, for instance, a Kid Rock will use hip hop in his music and gain notoriety for that. When was that? In the late 90s, early 2000s, got popping because he was this rockin' hip hop white guy from Detroit who had hella money, and now he gets off of that, and now he's doing country music with the Confederate flag and all in on Trump, who he, by the way, has a black, I believe, has a black son or daughter. I'm not really sure. I believe that's the case. That's a prime example, in my opinion. So forget of the race of the person specific. I'm just talking about people who use black culture for their benefit, and then when they're done with it, they just jump ship, and then all of a sudden they're like, I know black. I don't know what you're talking about. Or they do things that are anti-cultural. Exactly. Thank you. Exactement. They're prime examples of that. Like J-Lo is one of those type of people. Now, I'm not accusing her. People have said that about her. Like, you're using the Bronx and being Puerto Rican to your benefit until it's like, are you really that? Like, are you really from the block? Is that who you really are? Or are you just doing it because you want to get on this joint with Ja Rule and you want to make yourself look like you're down and hip hop is selling millions until it's not, and then I jump ship and I call it a day.
So you think do
I don't
know, but according to all the stuff that's been coming out now, she's really not Jenny from the block.
I mean, I know
that's just using the culture for your benefit. Once again, it's just using the culture for your benefit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, she'll go and do a couple of shows and do a couple of movies, and when she wants to be relevant again, she'll come back to the block.
And that's the problem I have, is that when you're no longer relevant on that side, you come back to the block. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. Some people can get away with it and others can't.
Who you think gets away with it? Who's gotten away with it?
Oh, she gets away with it.
She does, because all over TikTok they're killing her for that. Forget TikTok.
They are killing her for that, but she still has a fan base.
Of course, she always will. I mean, you know.
Can we say the same thing about somebody like Drake?
You went there.
Can we say the same thing about Drake?
Went there.
Because before you know his whole popularity thing, he didn't look like the Drake that he looks like today with fucking, you know, straight backs and, you know what I mean, all this other dumb shit, walking around like he's like from the hood, and we all know that he's not from the hood.
Yeah, not that. I think that's the biggest problem I had. A lot of people who during this whole beef thing, I think they had the problem with Drake was that, bro, 1 minute you're Jamaican and you're talking patois, and we're like, yo, where did this guy come from? Then you switch up to the Toronto slang, and you're that guy, and okay, cool. And then we know you're from Toronto, so, and I get Toronto is a very diverse place, so you can pick up different things here and there, but then all of a sudden you're using Houston slang, and because your dad's from Houston, and that's, you want to switch over to that, and then when it's convenient for you, then you get into your whole proper Degrassi voice, and you know, in other words, you could call it code switching, and then you want to use it. Then when you want to get into the hip hop thing, you want to change over to that. You have like 15 different faces, bro. Is there something wrong with that? When
you try and claim it to be who you are, yeah, definitely.
Who are you then? I don't know who you are. Like,
well,
who are you?
I'm gonna tell you. I think him being Drake, he has played the best role he has ever played since he was in Degrassi. That's what it is. He's a great actor. He's a great actor. Mm-hmm. He's a method actor. Okay.
I just don't know. That's my thing. I don't. Are you Jamaican? I don't. And once again, there's nothing wrong with admiring and ingratiating reggae culture into, I guess, your music. Nobody's knocking that, but I guess when you start, when he does lives and he all of a sudden talks in patois, and it's like, who are you? Wait a minute, hold up.
Well, they tried to say the same thing about Rihanna.
Nah, Rihanna's West Indian. Like, she's Bayesian.
She's West Indian, but there was
she's
a
Bayesian.
Point where,
she's Bayesian.
Yeah, I know she's Bayesian. We understand that, but they started saying the same thing about her because we didn't really hear her speak that much at the beginning.
I disagree.
She didn't really listen. People started getting at her because she was like, how she using like.
Because she used the Ponder replay,
patois and and you know what I mean. The same thing for a little while. People got over it because they understood that that's who she really was.
Right.
That's who she really is. Right. Mm-hmm. But when she first got hot, people were trying to question that, like, oh, she's trying to act, West Indian, Jamaican,
right.
This, that, and the third. And when you hear her speak, especially like in her movie roles. She doesn't have her accent. Now,
but she's doing that. She's acting.
She's not supposed to. Exactly. She's not. I'm not saying that she should, but that was kind of like an issue because I think that she hid it for a little while. At the beginning, she hid her accent, and then now she doesn't. Especially, it's just like everybody else from any other country. When they sing, you don't hear the accent.
Right. 100% right.
So.
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember.
He's a little different.
Yeah, well, like I think with her, it was. I don't ever remember her getting. I see what you're saying. Where the whole dancehall scene is very territorial. It's like, yo, okay, well, what you repping? For instance, there were back in the. Here's one thing a lot of people don't remember. So being Haitian in the 90s, maybe I want to say early 90s, was not a cool thing. It was not cool. Like a lot of Haitians would not admit that they were Haitian. It was not considered acceptable to be Haitian. A lot of Haitians were passing as Jamaicans. And some of you Haitians who are watching this are going to get upset, but you know you were one of them. You were one of those people that were like, no, I like Buju Banton. I don't listen. I don't know nothing about Haitian culture. And that was a fact. There was a stigma about us. I can't tell you how many jokes I got. There was a point where I didn't want to admit I was Haitian. I used to just be like, I'm from here. I'm American. And they'd be like, bro, you are too black. You are too black. Where are you from, brother? We know you lying. You African? Where are you from? Sooner or later, and you know who made the biggest impact? You know who made the biggest impact?
White
saying,
Club?
yo, forget, not just white, the Fugees. I don't think they get enough credit for really putting, when Wyclef went on that Grammy stage with that Haitian flag, upside down, mind you. It was upside down, but that's all right. That's perfectly fine. He went up there with the Haitian flag. When he went on that stage with that Haitian flag, a lot of people like myself looked at that. I was like, oh, I guess it's cool to, I guess we can acknowledge where we from and what we are, who we are. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll tell you, that was not it. It was being Haitian back in early night. Now, listen, what?
Yeah, but you could always trick a Haitian and speak. All you had to say was "Sapa say."
Yeah.
Now they were like,
Oh,
shit.
Nah, I would get that all the time. Yo, what do you
But
eat?
know
What do
what's
you guys?
funny,
What do you
though?
guys?
For me, it was different because, like, the whole Haitian and even Dominican experience. When I was growing up, all the Dominicans and the Haitians in my community hung out with each other.
Say that again. The Haitians and Dominicans hung out with
The
each other?
Haitians and Dominicans in my community. I grew up on the west side,
Okay.
right? Starting out on 80th Street and Amsterdam Avenue, going uptown, and between 80th Street and even all the way up, but there was like between 80th and 86 on Amsterdam. I saw when a lot of the Dominicans were coming to the United States, and they would come here and they were wearing the what's it called, the high waters with the no socks, with the curly drippy hair, you know, all that stuff in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? And in the 90s, 80s and 90s, all the Haitians and Dominicans hung out with each other in that area. In that area. So I never saw any like Haitian hate on my side because we all hung out with each other. One of my good friends is Haitian. You know, I call him my brother. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of, but I mean, we used to go to Central Park. They used to have rah-rah in Central Park. They used to play music, and everybody had like their thing with the steel, ding 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 ding, like, and there was that, but that was when all the Zozos were out too.
Yeah, but here's the thing: when you say that, our issues weren't with, and it circles back to the original topic. Our issues weren't with other Caribbean cultures. Like, I never really had any issues with Dominicans or Jamaicans or any West Indians for that matter. My biggest criticism, when I got teased the most about being Haitian, was from traditional African Americans, families that were from the South, or, you know what I mean, have a lineage all the way back to slavery. That's who was killing me. I'd never forget one time a girl asked me, she was like, "You Haitian, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "What do y'all eat, rocks or something?" And I'm like, kind of dumb, what the fuck are you talking about? And that was the type of energy I was getting, and it wasn't from other West Indian countries. It was from, I think it's in part of two things. One, we're not gonna get static from other West Indian countries because every culture is different, and we respect everybody's culture. I think that's number one. Whether Puerto Ricans have their way of doing things, Dominicans have their way of doing things, Jamaicans, Bajans, every culture have their way of doing things. Whether you want to call it voodoo or spiritual or whatever you want to call it. Whereas this goes back to the original premise of one of our viewers, where they said African Americans don't have a culture to fall back on or to really acknowledge. So they felt like, okay, well, I heard rumors about Haitians, so that's what y'all are. Y'all kind of beneath us. Like, what's that shit y'all be doing? It's that voodoo shit y'all be doing. Like,
that was something that has always come up.
Always. I feel like Haitians got the most of when it came to rituals and voodoo and shit like that. Like, oh, that's voodoo shit. When by the way, every culture has their little quirks about them of how to heal when their kid is sick or certain foods.
Yeah,
that
but
they
it's
make.
always, that's I mean that's a whole rabbit hole for me. Because when I think of those religions and those all those Yoruba, voodoo, which they all have kind of like the same understanding, the same thing, because it all boils down to fire, wind, earth, water, you know what I mean, all the elements, you know what I mean.
Captain Planet, yeah.
But when you look at Europeans and how they wanted to change us and strip us away from our beliefs, they made it pagan. Mm-hmm. So the easiest way for them to make people stop doing that is they outlawed it, right? To a certain extent. And they said, well, if you practice it, we got to burn you. You're witches, you're this, you're that. Mm-hmm. I truly believe that those religions and all those beliefs are our heritage.
Like some of the stuff in the Catholic Church, if you're an outsider looking in, could be deemed as voodoo if you think about it. Like, yo, you're drinking and eating the blood of Christ. What? Ew. What?
See,
what
but the thing is that it's crazy, because if you read the Old Testament, they did sacrifices. They did the same
100%.
shit.
100%.
They did the same thing, but they made it look pretty because oh no, now they don't sacrifice animals. Now they put fruits and vegetables for the gods and right? And they because they deem that wrong, and that's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. That's all that was all created for control.
Which culture has the best beef patty?
Whoa.
In your opinion? I'm gonna step up as a Haitian, a proud Haitian. It has to be said we have the worst. We have the worst beef patty, hands down.
Really?
100%. Our shit is a teaspoon of meat and the rest is crust, and you have you have flakes everywhere. I am not a fan of the traditional Haitian beef patty. It sucks in my opinion.
Well, would you consider an empanada a beef patty?
Oh,
does that fall? Does that fall in? That falls in there.
It's a beef patty. Yeah, it's a beef patty.
Okay.
So now you're basically asking.
Well, you said who has the best beef patty.
Well, all right. Well, you answer. Who do you think has the best beef patty?
Oh, that's tough, brother. I'm fat. I love them all.
You've had a Haitian beef patty?
Never.
Yeah,
Never.
You're not missing out. There's not much in it, man. So disappointing, man. It's all crusted.
I'm saying though, but the little dollop of meat, does it taste good? Is it seasoned right?
I can't even tell because there's just so much pastry around it. You don't even get to really enjoy it, and you really don't. It's so much. It's not. I'm sorry, my Haitian people, but it's just I'd rather have a Jamaican beef patty any day of the week or empanada. Now, who has the best one?
That's hard for me because I love. Let's say like golden crust beef patties. Mm-hmm. Love them.
Yeah,
I love them.
I think Jamaican flavors is better though. Jamaican flavors is better.
Jamaican flavors. I'll go with that too.
It's once you take one bite, the meat is just gushing. Pause. But it's just.
Why are you pausing, bro?
I said the meat is gushing.
So what?
Nah.
I watched the what's it called? It annoys me. It annoys
what, pause?
Me. It does. I do it in jest. Like I do it to make it to
yo, we have phone conversations all the time, and you be like, yo, pause. Like, what are you doing?
because
now all of a sudden you on this show and you're like, whoa, wait.
The reason why is because we're having this semi-serious conversation because we're talking about beef patties, right?
Oh, it's serious. Get it right. It's serious. It's serious. All right. You talk about food, beef patties. It's serious.
Sometimes I'm having conversations, and we're having like a real in-depth, serious conversation, And because that person says something or I say something, the first thing out of their mouth is, yo, pause, no Diddy, da da da. And I look at them and I go, oh man, do you not think you're old enough to have a conversation and not have to think about homosexuality?
It's not about that. It's
Yes,
just
it is.
sometimes-
Yes, it
no,
is.
no, it's not. It's
Yes,
just
it
no,
is.
because sometimes
it
like
is.
just certain. I said the meat is gushing, and like that now is. I get it. I understand what you're saying, but I just.
Why are you thinking about homosexuality if we're talking about fucking eating a beef?
Yo,
pie?
it's so crazy. I wish they heard you when you're on the phone and we're not recording. Like, are you out of your mind? You be bugging. Like, what are you talking about? All right, let's get back to what's the better. All right, so we're gonna get rid of the Haitian beef patty. I'm not even putting that close. I'm sorry, my Haitian people. You're not.
I
putting
like
that joint
Jamaican
close.
beef patties.
Jamaican.
I'm a
I don't know, but you
huge
mentioned
fan.
empanadas, and now you asked a great question: is empanadas considered a beef patty? That's a great question, and I would consider it a beef patty. It's the same structure.
Nah, but it's different. It's different because it's not made out of that flaky dough. It's not made out of any of that stuff.
It doesn't have to be made out of flaky
wheat
dough.
or corn.
Yeah, they have like, you never had empanada mama?
Yeah,
They have those. Yeah, they have those. It's a beef patty. It's a patty.
It's not a beef patty. It's an empanada.
An empanada is a form of a beef patty. So you say
Okay,
tomato, I say tomato.
All
All right, so what would you rather have? You rather have, you put an empanada to your right, Jamaican beef patty from Jamaica Flavors on your left. Which one are you picking? I know it's tough.
Probably.
And I don't want to get it too cute. I'm not talking about chicken or jerk chicken. I'm a regular beef patty. If we're putting a beef empanada or beef patty, which one are you taking first?
All right. If it's my mother's, it's gonna be that.
No.
It's
Come on.
because
You can't be
because if it's my mother's empanadas, because I love my mother's empanadas.
Bro.
She makes
all
traditional empanadas, bro.
You can't be infusing your mom. Like, I'm not gonna deny that, but no, I'm not. Like, I love my mother.
Though. It's an empanada.
So I can't have a beef patty. I can't. I love my mother's cooking to death. I can't have a beef patty. I don't even know if she really does beef patties that deep. No, forget that. I'm talking about a regular Uptown or Harlem empanada and a Jamaican flavors beef patty. Which one are you taking?
It'd be a Jamaican flavors beef patty.
All right. So that's your number one. I would agree with you. No, whoa, wait a minute. Shit. No, I'll agree with you. I won't judge.
Because
you.
it depends. If you can get an empanada from a good place, I could eat them shits all day.
That's the difference. I don't think you could get a good Haitian beef patty.
We
I
went
don't
right back
think
to
we're-
Haitian beef patties.
I'm just because I'm thinking about that, because you're right. It is certain places that the beef patty's okay, whatever, it's cold, whatever, but you could still savor it and enjoy it. I've had all types of Haitian beef. Not one of them have I said, "Oh, this is fire." No, they've all been. I think it's just the
good beef
structure of it.
patties. Is the Haitian spot right next to the Van Wyck?
Oh my god, what Haitian spot by the Van Wyck?
No, not the Haitian spot, the Jamaican spot
Oh, okay. I was about to say
with the beef patties.
that's a lot.
Before you go over.
Yeah,
to
word.
40s. It's on the right hand side. It's a Jamaican spot.
I was about to say
Small. What's it called? The empanadas in that place, Supreme, is it? On Rockaway Boulevard?
on Rockaway Boulevard. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
I had their oxtail empanadas.
Mhm.
Oh, good.
I have a beef with
And-
Jamaican restaurants though.
Why?
Beef. Cause I'll go there at 12 p.m. and I'll ask for a beef patty and y'all automatic. How are y'all out of beef patties? Y'all just open. Like, the whole gist of a Jamaican restaurant is your number one product are beef patties. It's the cheapest. It's the highest selling. How do you not have them at 12 p.m.? I can understand if I'm coming at closing time. I understand if I'm coming around that time and y'all don't have any more. But if y'all just open, the kitchen, like, your kitchen's open. Like, you have, 1 p.m. and y'all don't have beef. How do y'all have any more beef patties? That's ridiculous. I don't understand it. It's the majority of Jamaican restaurants too. I did give a shout out to Yardies though. You got to go to Yardies. Shout out to Yardies in Queens. parties is fire.
Okay, you're right. You're
Nah,
right.
I get emotional about. I get emotional about just because you just want something quick to eat. You got $5 in your pocket. You want a quick beef patty. By the way, shout out to the inflation of the prices of beef patties. I used to be able to get like 3. Now you can get 1 that's cost like $3.50 or whatever. Thanks, Biden. And then but all of a sudden y'all don't have any more. I don't understand that shit. What have you been listening to? Because every time we get on, you tell me to listen to something. Whether it's music, podcasts, videos, what's something that you've watched recently that you're like, yo, this is kind of fire?
Recently, nothing. I actually just been listening to some of the stuff that actually we talked about. So I've been listening to Lupe's
oh my god,
Lupe's album, which I enjoyed.
I'm a Lupe fan. But let's call it how we see it.
You didn't like Samurai?
I haven't listened to it. In all fairness, I know I said I'll listen to it. I just feel like there's a part of me
you can't comment. You can't comment until you listen to it.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm a Lupe fan. I just feel like sometimes he's mad that Kendrick took his spot. Because let's be real, like Lupe was supposed to be where Kendrick is, and Kendrick pretty much lapped him. And so I think sometimes the rhetoric.
I don't even know. I don't even understand why people can think that way. Because shit don't work like that.
I just feel like because some of his energy, especially when mentioning the beef and just mentioning Kendrick in general, he says he's a fan, but I sense a bit of bitterness where it's like, yo, that was supposed to be me.
Yeah, but I don't understand how people can actually think that way. If it was supposed to be you, then it would have been you, but it's not you. So then,
I think Lupe was ahead of his time. Quite honestly, I think he was just ahead of his time.
I would agree.
I think he was just I the whole skateboarding thing, the whole he wasn't, mind you, he's from that block. He's from Chicago, and he ain't no bitch about him. But he tried to go a different direction, pretty similar to Kendrick, where Kendrick was around, the foolery, but he decided, yo, I rather be a little bit more conscious with my content and my music than anything else. Lupe took the same direction, and I just think it didn't hit with certain people, or just the taste and what people were waiting for or wanted at the time. It just didn't connect. By the way, he does have a classic record though. The Cool is a classic record. Lupe Fiasco's The Cool is a classic record. What have I been listening to? Couple things. One, there was this hilarious episode of this podcast I just stumbled upon. I want to make sure I get the name of it. I like something when I comment under your shit, because I don't comment under nobody's shit. It's called Multiple Talking Women Podcast. Yo, so they had actress Melissa Fumero on there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm watching it, and I'm like, yo, is this real? Like, you have to listen to it. I can describe it to you as best as possible, and you won't get it. You have to watch it. But it's one of the funniest shits I've ever seen in a while, as far as podcasts are concerned. Doing more research on it, it's satirical. They're not being real, per se. It's like podcast improv. So some of the stuff on there I got afterwards, but it still had me laughing. So shout out to that podcast. I thought it was, funny as shit.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's hella hilarious. And yeah, you gotta check it out. What else have I been listening to? I've been listening to a lot of De La Soul too. A lot of De La Soul. I'm a big fan. They had the Oodles and O's pop up recently. Q-Tip was there. But I've been listening to a lot of Stakes is High. And yeah, I got to get you on one of the segments we're doing on the network. So we'll talk after the show. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of De La for whatever reason, and a lot of Brazilian funk. a lot of Brazilian funk, which is let me see if I can find. I'm gonna butcher the name of these artists. So Trio Mikado, Cassiano. Yeah, I know some of y'all look them up. It's fire shit. Brazilians in the 70s.
Send me what's it called?
Yeah, Brazilians in the 70s, man. They had some shit.
I'll text some of the names.
Yeah, they were on some shit. They were on some crazy shit. All right, let's get to hard R. I got one right off the bat. I think this one is pretty simple. I think this one is pretty easy. I do think this person though has reformed himself. And the first person I want to bring up to hard R is Mark Wahlberg. What do you think?
I think Mark Wahlberg. I don't. Wow. Here we go.
Come on. All right. Do I have to say he's from Boston?
It doesn't matter though. But Mark is a different type of specimen because all his people and his homies were black.
That doesn't answer the question though, man. You're making.
If he used,
here's the thing with you sometimes.
I know definitely A. I think he
definitely
still uses A. And I think he still uses A.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those dudes that, because he's been around for such a long time, I think he gets a pass from other people. Most definitely. You don't think he walks up to Snoop Dogg and be like, "Oh, what's up, my nigga?" You don't really think he does that?
I never.
And everybody in the industry.
Okay, but do you ever think he said R? Ever?
That's tough. It's not as easy. That's tough. Because I remember watching one of his documentaries and stuff like that. In his youth,
yeah,
most definitely.
I'm gonna say hard R. I'm gonna say hard R, but in his youth, same as Ben. We said that for Ben Affleck, right?
Yes.
Yeah. When he was younger, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna say hard R. I don't think he's ever said it since. He's gotten arrested for racially charged stuff when he was younger. I think he had beat up a Asian delivery driver or something like that. But hey, we all heal. We all get better as people. So we're not trying to cancel anybody. We're just stating facts. That's all we want to do here. Pat Sajak. R, A, or never said it?
Pat Sajak.
Do you ever think he has said the N-word with a hard R, an A, or has never said it? Now, just to preface this, do you know about Pat Sajak? Super conservative. Right-leaning to the core. He's a full Trumper. That's his thing. He is, Now, once again, that doesn't automatically say that he's of that ilk to say that word. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just asking the question. Hard R, A, or has never said it? And shout out to him. He's a military man as well. Served in the Vietnam War.
Served in the Vietnam War.
So for you, that gives him a buffer. For those who don't know who Pat Sajak is, he used to be the host of Wheel of Fortune. He recently retired.
Wheel of Fortune.
Nigga.
If he used anything, it'd be the hard R.
That's not what I'm asking. If he used the in your bones, when you lay your head at night and you think about all the men and women who've used that word, do you believe Pat Sajak is in that list?
First of all, I don't be thinking about all the men. First of
all. Oh, excuse me, man. I don't want to.
I did it on purpose.
This guy.
Yes.
You believe so?
I believe so. What do you think?
Oh, man. Yo, I'm gonna say yes. But you know what? I'm gonna excuse it. And you want to know when he said it? It was when, I don't know if you remember the episode of Wheel of Fortune when it was the college, rounds or whatever, and there was a black kid who had the puzzle figured out. Like it was everything was there, and he mispronounced. I'm gonna look for this video. And I know he went backstage and was like, "Can you believe this nigga?
Can you believe it?
Can you believe this nigga?" Now, I'm gonna pause it. You are a black man. You're representing Indiana. All right. This is college Wheel of Fortune, my man. You gotta represent. Okay. All the letters are there for you, my man. They're all there. All right.
I saw.
Oh, that'd be a good idea, yeah.
Mythological hero Achilles.
Oh.
Can't accept that.
Okay.
Shelby.
I'll solve.
Yeah.
Mythological hero Achilles.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, boy. Well,
First of all, he definitely said it in his head at this moment. He definitely said it in his head at that moment.
Wow.
Now, that wasn't the first one though. He did it again. Let me see if I can fast
No,
forward.
he didn't. No,
Yes, he
he
did.
didn't.
and even though the letters are up there.
What an idiot.
Because, which is what you did. You have to say it. And you said it.
And look
You
at
get
his face.
$1,000, which is, house minimum,
Freaking
so you have
twat.
$1,000, but we'll just wipe that clean from.
W.
There's a
First of
W.
all, the
Pick
way
up
you're yelling the letters with all that confidence, you kind of have to draw it back, my guy.
that half car. It's a Chevy.
W.
Last round to try to get the other half. Look,
I'm not sending none of my kids to Indiana.
L.
there's an L. Pick it up.
Let's
You
be
got
real.
one there.
Let's be real. Like, they probably not taking on that anyway.
So 300.
C.
So this nigga just won a whole car, not half a car. First of all, shout out Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, you're chopping cars in half, and we gotta win one half of them. Like, what are we doing?
On the spot dice spin.
Oh my god. Now,
Oh my god.
now I'm gonna ask you a question, Zay. Now, don't disappoint me here. And if you do, I can edit this out. So there's no pressure.
Wait. On the spot decision.
Okay, thank you. What did this fool say?
Go ahead.
On the spot dice spin.
Shelby.
On
Are you kidding me?
Yo, Pat Sajak went backstairs, said that hard R, and it was warranted, my friend. I'm sorry. It was warranted. Yo, no. The way he answered it, no. That's not it.
On the spot dice spin.
No.
Shelby.
No. Freaking-
What do you think about David Letterman?
Damn, that's a good one. I commend you for that one. Ooh. David,
I'll tell you right off the back, I don't think so.
David Letterman.
Hard R or A.
This may shock you, but I'm gonna say never. I'm gonna say never. I like David Letterman a lot. I thought he had the best late night show. Yeah, and let me rephrase. I think him and Conan were like neck and neck. Was never really a big.
I love Conan.
Yeah,
But I
Conan
also
was-
like the Irish dude. I thought the Irish dude was
Who
hilarious.
was the? What's his name? Colin.
His name.
Colin Ferguson.
Yeah,
what was that?
with his co-host was a skeleton.
Yeah, was it Colin? Or wasn't Colin Ferguson the guy who killed all those people in the? Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Colin Ferguson was the guy who killed all those people in the LIRR. My bad.
Really?
Wrong. Yeah, my bad. That's not. No, that's. Sorry.
Something Colin something.
What was his name? Craig Ferguson. All right, I wasn't off. I wasn't off.
He was. I don't even know why they took him off the air because he was fucking hilarious.
I guess he just wasn't doing numbers. And it, like, it's hard, man. That business is hard. Late night is hard as fuck, bro. You know that. It's hard. Pause. What a way to end the show.
crazy.